What's up, everybody? My YCL watchers, the Agron Alliance. Welcome. Got a last-minute draft analysis video for you guys. So, you guys know I joined YCL Speed Tour. I'm in SPC, Sky Pillar Championship. But we said 2 leagues wasn't enough, so we also managed to land a spot in the YCL. I'm super excited about this league because it's got a lot of good competitors, a lot of great battlers, a lot of fun people too so far, and I really am excited to be in a harder league. I should say leagues I've been in, they haven't been easy at all, but I am kind of stepping up to not being one of the highest CCS scores in a league, which is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of worried about how it'll turn out, but what do you guys to Agrons? We're out here, we're gonna do our best, and we got a pretty heat team. So I think we were 9th overall. So the way this league works is, for the draft, there's 24 teams. Each group, there's 2 live drafts. Each one has 12 teams. So that basically means 2 groups of 12 drafting from the same pool of Pokemon. So in one division, there's going to be one of everything. In another division, there's going to be one of everything. So there's going to be 2 Urshifus. 4. You know what I'm saying? Alright, bad example. There's going to be 2 Latios, 2 Moltres, 2 Mew, 2 Dragapult, stuff like that, right? So we're gonna fight only people in our division, I believe, until the championship, if we make it that far, which would be insane. But so we had a wide selection of Pokemon, which I thought was really cool. We had a lower amount of points than I'm really used to, so this was a point-based draft, and we had a lower amount of points that I'm really used to. But the big kicker was that we had to draft 11 Pokemon. I'm gonna tell y'all, I was not ready for this at all. But I like the team. I like the team we got. So right off the bat, we got Urshifu Single Strike S+. I have no idea how this thing fell to the 9th pick. I really don't, but I got it. I don't know what to say about it. It's Wicked Blow the Pokemon. It gets great coverage. Everything, to me, one of the most broken things about Urshifu, other than the obvious with Wicked Blow, is that this Pokemon gets coverage to kill its counters. Stuff like Fairy types, stuff like Dark types, obviously, close combat, Iron Head, Poison Jab. It's very threatening. Not a whole lot wants to switch in on Urshifu. It's a very hard Pokemon to switch into. And it's very unpredictable. You can have protective pads, you can run Choice Band, Choice Scarf, and of course it gets U-turn. Close combat is a very spammable fighting type move. 97 speed. 97 speed is really fast because there's a lot of stuff in that 95 bracket that it outspeeds, which is great. 97 is really good, in my opinion. And 130 base attack is ridiculous. Urshifu's broken. It's banned in Smogon Ladder. I believe it'll be really good for us. In draft, you always got to keep in mind that Pokemon are less broken, in my opinion, because you know that they're coming. I think the reason some of the stuff gets banned on the ladder is because you don't know it's getting loaded up. So when you make a team, you gotta prepare for all the threats. You know what I'm saying? In Draft League, you really only gotta prepare for their 11. So Pokemon like Urshifu that are ban worthy in ladder, I think they're, I don't want to say easier, but they're coming, so you can prep around them better. And you can build multiple Pokemon, multiple sets to take hits from your main opponent's threats. But anyway, moving on. So next up we got Scizor. I love Scizor. I think it's a very like you see it's an A tier, and I think that's well deserved. Scizor is one of those Pokemon that does everything. It knockoffs, it U-turns, it defogs, it roosts, it sets up, bullet punch. Is a really good Pokemon. Technician. Bug Steel is fantastic because it's only weak to fire. It's freaking great. It's going to be eating those fairy hits for Urshifu. Easy. It's not going to care about the flying moves too much because Scizor's defense is like crazy good. I really like Scizor. It's a really good Pokemon because it resists so many types as well. I think Scizor resists something like 11 or 13 types. It's something stupid, I think. But yeah, it resists a lot. I think it's 9. Yeah, I think it's 9. It resists 9 types or is immune to 9 types. Or like resists or immune to 9 types. So that's freaking great. Scizor's dope. I mean, I've drafted this thing in, I think I have it in all 3 of my leagues. No, I have it in 2 of them. I have Mega Scizor and Speed Tour. And I love this Pokemon. It's really good for taking hits, scaring stuff out, and then just U-turning or getting knockoffs. It's a great Pokemon to like pivot into or hard switch into. If you run it defensively, it can take hits really well. I ran a Mega Scizor last week as my Kyurem check, and it did it fantastically. Like it did really well. If I'd have played a little bit better, it probably would have done a little bit better. But Scizor did what it needed to do. It was tanking those hits. It's a really good Pokemon defensively, offensively. It does so much. It's fire. Next up, we got Moltres. So I wanted to get something. I like Moltres because I wasn't planning on drafting a lot of like rocks weak Pokemon and a lot of Pokemon that need heavy duty boots. So I figured Moltres would be really good. I think C rank Moltres is really good. In my opinion, I think it could totally be MB, but it's really good. Flame body. It's got Scorching Sands this generation, Hurricane, Fire Blast, Flamethrower. Like Fire and Flying Stab is really good in my opinion. Not a lot of types resist both of those, other than like Rock types, but you don't really see like defensive Rock types too much. I doubt we'll see Rock types much this season at all, besides like Terrakion, Stakataka, maybe. But I like Moltres. It's decently fast. I think Moltres is something like 90 base speed, which is actually pretty good. I have this thing in YCL Speed Tour, and like I don't really know how to use Moltres. Like I know you want to run it defensive, but there's a lot of Pokemon that have like Rock type coverage. So like a lot of times I'll just run it like dummy offensive for like no reason, because it resists so much, and of course being a ground immunity, like it resists a lot just off its typing, and it's always a nice switch into physical mons because you can get that flame body activation. So it's a dope mon. I thought for C, like why not? It pairs well with Scizor and Urshifu. Very good. It's a fighting resist, so we have a solid fighting resist for that, for the fighting moves that Urshifu wants to take. So it's dope as hell. Next up, we got Nidoqueen. I love Nidoqueen. I'm using Nidoking in SPC right now, and probably my only complaint about Nidoking is it can't take hits. like it can't take hits for nothing. So Nidoqueen does that as well, and Nidoqueen is still decently fast at 77 base speed. It's only 8 points slower than Nidoking, and there's a lot of stuff that Sheer Force, Life Orb can really bust through. And at 77 base speed, there's a lot of good walls that you can threaten out with Nidoqueen. Stuff like Ferrothorn that can't touch you. Steel types. This thing pretty much switches in on steel types for free. It doesn't care. It gets crazy, like dummy good coverage. It's really good for hazards as well. It gets Stealth Rock and Toxic Spike, which is like crazy good. So I basically got 2 hazards in one draft, which is pretty sick. But it's also very strong. I do think it's a little expensive in A, but it is really nice because it can take those hits, especially if you like slap like an assault vest on it with like max HP. Like the thing swallows hits, like non-super effective hits. It does not care, and even small super effective hits like flip turn, stuff like that, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage, unless it's from like a very, very strong offensive like water type, something like that. But I really like Nidoqueen. Oh, also of course, grounded poison. So it's like really good. Like if you look at our draft so far, like if you look at our top 4, like we don't really care about toxic spikes. But it is a grounded poison. So if there was any hint of somebody wanting to bring T-Spike against me, it's pretty much gone now, in my opinion. Yeah, Nidoqueen's really good. I really like it. Great offensive wall breaker. Defensive wall breaker as well. Next up, we have Zygarde 10%. Now, this draft was kind of just fun. I modeled this team around the Indiana Tracers team in the Sky Pillar Championship because I really liked the team. And I stole his core, basically, of like Urshifu, Single Strike, Scizor, and Moltres. And then everything else, it just kind of worked out that way, because like when I was looking at these, I was like, oh, what's a good like Pokemon to go with that? Like, oh, Nidoqueen's great. And now I'm drafting, like my defensive core is pretty much set with like Scizor, Moltres, Nidoqueen. Pretty good, right? And then I was like, well, I need to get something fast. And I like Zygarde 10% because you just kind of click buttons with it. Like you just click 1,000 arrows, like you don't care. Like you 1,000 arrows everything. Like when I was prepping for Dude's team in Sky Pillar, it was just so annoying to prep for any kind of Zygarde because stuff that you have off the ground doesn't counter it anymore, and then pretty much the only other things that can counter it are like bulky grass types, and grass type isn't the best like defensively, and a lot of people don't have like super defensive grass types. Grass not being a super good defensive type in the first place. So Zygarde is like one of those Pokemon that's like, it's just kind of cool to send out and just click Choice Banded 1,000 arrows and just not care. It's decent utility as well. It has priority with extreme speed. There's not much else for it. It's an electric immunity, which I already have in Nidoqueen, so it's kind of cool to get another one. Dragon Ground is dope, but like Zygarde's kind of like it's real frail, the 10% version. But overall, Dragon and Ground, solid typing to switch in. It's very hard to switch in on stuff like that. Banded 1,000 arrows is going to do a ton. It has good base speed. I think it's something like 115. It's either 110 or 115. I can't remember, but I felt like we really needed speed, because if you look at this, like you have Urshifu at 97, and that's kind of bad. Like I always try to at least get one Pokemon that is like 110 base speed or better. So Zygarde fits that niche pretty good. It's another like physical threat, which is super dope. So after Zygarde, I kind of sat back and looked at the team, and I was like, yo, like something that really messes my team up right now in the top 5 is bulky water. Like there's nothing on my team that wants to just eat Scalds and fear an Ice Beam as well. Like there's nothing. There's nothing. So unfortunately, I ended up taking another prime pick from Matt's roster in Lantern. This dude always drafts this thing, but I feel like for a team like this, it's really good to have like a water absorb mon with the option of Volt Absorb. It's super great. Could potentially have 2 immunities. Volt Switch is really nice. I can fish for scalds on my own. I can run toxic for the opposing bulky water. And in the right situation, Lantern is really, really annoying. It counters Rain very well. I don't know if anybody drafted Rain in the YCL. They might have, but in that matchup, Lantern's really good in a Rain matchup, in my opinion, because it can just free volt switch on things. It doesn't fear stuff like Vicious Rend from Dracovish, because you can run Water Absorb, and it cooks Pelipper for free. So like it's a great like anti-lead versus Rain if they just send out Pelipper. It's really great. I love Lantern. I believe it gets like Thunderwave, which is super dope. Yeah, I really like Lantern. It helps us eat those ice type hits and water type hits, which I think is what we really need. And yeah, I really like Lantern. Something that I was trying to get with this team is just a lot of like, I was trying to get like pivot the team, basically. Like I wanted a lot of mons that pivot, and right now half of our team pivots. Over half actually. Over half of our team can pivot, which is really good because we can threaten Pokemon out, predict switches, stuff like that. Gain momentum. It's really important. So yeah. So I kind of wanted to slow my roll a little bit on this next pick. And in the YCL last season, there was a Pokemon that did way more work than anybody expected. Like a sleep pick. And it was Jigglypuff. And I'm not going to tell you what team the Jigglypuff was on, but you could probably guess. Just context clue. But I rolled down through, and I saw Wigglytuff was in F tier, and the way the points are set up is like you don't have a whole lot of points. Like you really don't. And I've kind of been going ham with the points. Like I got 2 A's, an S plus. I've been spending points pretty good. So I wanted to slow down a little bit and grab a budget F tier, and I think Wigglytuff is perfect for it. It's a budget F. F tiers being very cheap. I think they were like 10 points or something like that, like super low. And Wigglytuff's great because it walls 2 Pokemon in this draft, just with its typing alone, and that's Spectre and Dragapult. And considering those Pokemon can just tear teams apart, I don't feel ashamed at all drafting a normal fairy type that can just sit in front of them, not care. Wigglytuff is really good for utility as well. It gets great coverage because it's normal type. It gets knockoff. It gets stealth rock. Really great. It gets wish, teleport. It's a good F tier mon. Okay, will Wigglytuff come every week? Absolutely not. I can guarantee you. Absolutely not. YCL is 5 weeks. And I promise we will not be facing a broken ghost type every single week. But if we are, if we do, and we think we need it, we have Wigglytuff on deck. It can come at any time. Now, 7 rounds down, and I'm looking at my team, and I'm like, we're very physical. Like, we have some special threats. Moltres, Nidoqueen, Lantern, I guess. It's not really a threat. But I want like a strong special attacker. And I'm looking at my team, and I'm like, looking at Nidoqueen, Zygarde, Lantern. We have a lot of stuff on the ground. I don't really have a ground immunity yet, aside from Moltres. So I really would like another ground move, because in my opinion, some of the best like moves to just spam against a lot of teams are Ghost, Ice, and Ground. So I try to cover those 3 with certain picks. and I came across Latios. Now, I really like Latios. I wanted to run Latios all the way back in Trico Pokemon League Season 3. Unfortunately, got sniped, and I had to get Latios. But I really liked Latios. Like, I was dropping Dracos on people all season. Latios and Latios get access to Mystical Fire. They get Aura Sphere. They get dummy coverage. I really like just nuking people with like Draco Meteor. It's super fun. You know, they do get some kind of like... See, Latios and Latios are kind of like hard to define because they get different kinds of coverage moves. Like, I know Latios gets Sucker Punch and Latios doesn't. But I'm pretty sure it gets access to stuff like Baton Pass, possibly Healing Wish. I know Latios gets that. I don't know if Latios gets that. But Latios is a super fast, super offensive Pokemon, and I love it. I'm really interested to use it. It gets great coverage. You can run so many different Latios sets, and I love it. I love like Choice Scarf Trick, Choice Specs Trick. It's really dope. Just keeping your specs and dropping like a Draco Meteor on teams that don't bring their fairy. Super great. You know, 2 dragons on the team, it's kind of like up in the air. But as far as like attacking goes, Latios and Zygarde, completely different in my opinion. It gives me a nice Psychic type. Psychic type being pretty decently offensive. Not the best, but it's decent. You know, Latios also being one of those Pokemon that, like I said, Pokemon that want to switch into it like Steels, it can chip those away with the predictions. You get the right predictions, you hit them with an Aura Sphere, hit them with a Mystical Fire, Baton Pass out. It's really good. Especially with like defensive steals like Registeel. They hate getting tricked to Choice Scarf, getting tricked to Choice Specs. So yeah, Latios can be really nice for like whatever you need, like offensively. And it can also like cripple teams. I really like Latios. I think it'll be really nice because, like I said, I was having fun with a Latios, and Latios ain't even all that great. It's like 110 special attack. Like, it's not even that great. But 110 is awesome speed tier. Awesome speed tier. I think I really like this Pokemon. I really do. Like I said, it gives me that ground immunity. It's great. Then, as I was looking at the amount of points I had left, I didn't have that much. I think I had like 140 points, which, to put that into perspective, like, I think Bs are like 80, something like that. I tried to look up the point values before this. I couldn't find them. I mean, I could have went through the tier list, but I don't know, man. I'm doing this like last minute. I'm literally like, this is supposed to be up tomorrow, and it's 10:30 at night. Don't tell anybody though, guys. Thanks. So next I got Whimsicott. I honestly forget why I got Whimsicott. But I'll tell you what I'm using it for. Prankster is super good and super annoying. I just fought dude, curse this guy for bringing this set. I just fought a substitute Leech Seed Encore. What else did it have? I don't know, but it was stupid annoying. Like, it just lived to set up Sub and Leech Seed and Protect. I think it was his last move. Dumb annoying. But I love Whimsicott because it's fast. It's 118 base speed, I think. 118, 116, something like that. It can set up Tailwinds. It can Stun Spore. It can Encore stuff into setting up. It's kind of cool because, like, if you predict the setup move, like you turn out and you see your opponent sets up, you can go into Whimsicott and just Encore them, so they're kind of stuck, which is super fun. Grass and Fairy is actually kind of surprisingly annoying to deal with offensively for a lot of teams. There's like, I just mean, like, unless you have like your opponent has like a bulky fire type, which in my opinion, fire types aren't really something you really need in a draft. Like there's not really a whole lot of like need for a fire type, to be honest. You can draft other stuff to kind of do the same thing, or kind of cover those weaknesses of not having one. But Moonblast, Energy Ball, it's decent coverage all in all. This thing's annoying. I really look forward to using it because I don't know what it is with Whimsicott, but I've never seen it not do anything in a battle. Like it's always been annoying at the worst, and then like actually a disgusting little monster at the best. It's not gonna win any like KO awards. Like it's not gonna be a kill leader, but it's annoying. It's support. I love Prankster. I love Prankster. I love drafting a Prankster mon in draft leagues. I've had Grimmsnarl before. I have Thunderous Incarnate in another league, SPC. Prankster is really nice to just have something up your sleeve. If you ever want to run a Pokemon that's like main job is just to cripple something you're afraid of on your opponent's team, Prankster, perfect way to do it. Perfect way to do it. It's not as good as Prankster Thunderwave, which is something that I absolutely love, but Whimsicott still gets Stun Spore. It still gets other stuff like Tailwind, which is pretty good for like a middle of the way team. A Bandit Urshifu under Tailwind would be absolutely crazy for the 3 turns it gets it. As well as Memento, Whimsicott is very good for allowing setup, or stopping setup, or it can help you out. It is what I'm saying. If you need a get out of jail free card, you know what I'm saying, get out of sweep free card, Whimsicott can be that mon for you. Prankster mons can be those mons for you. It is what it is. All right, next up, I was out of points by this point. Whimsicott was pretty much like my drafting Whimsicott. I wanted to get one more decent Pokemon to throw on the team, and that was it. Now I'm looking through my team, and aside from Scizor and Lantern, I don't have the strongest ice resists. So I went ahead and picked up Klinklang. Looking through the F tier, which is quite a few mons on there. I don't know how I didn't get stuck with something that needed an Eviolite, that's kind of a miracle in itself. But Klinklang is decently fast. Its move pool is atrocious, but what it can do is it can hurt steel types and water types, which is great. It gets Volt Switch, Gear Grind, Shift Gear. It's a nice, just like pure steel type, which is something we don't have. Like Scizzor's there, yes. Which Scizor would be great. I can't imagine too many like situations I would bring Klinklang over Scizor. But when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, you just kind of look for the piece of candy that doesn't look the most stepped on. And I came up with Klinklang. It's another solid ice resist. And there's not too much else to say about it. Will I run Focus Sash Shift Gear? Probably not. But if I want to, it's there. If I find a Pokemon, or if I find a team out there that gets swept by a Gear Grind, I can bring it. Whatever. Klinklang's there. Next up, Greedent. Alright, so Greedent for me, I'm drafting this thing from experience, and I just mean like there are some matchups that Greedent can perform surprisingly well. I remember back in ASL, I thought I was going to get the best of my opponent with a either Specs or Scarf Kyurem, right? This Spadef ugly rodent. Like, look at his face. That is the face of just someone who's just out to ruin your day. Okay? He's just out to ruin your day. He can actually be bulky. He can be bulky in some mashups. Very niche. If I need a pure normal type, which sometimes you do need, for whatever reason, it's there. Will Greedent even come in YCL? I don't know. The week's 5 weeks, man. To be honest, I kind of did draft a little bit heavy on this team, just because it's only 5 weeks. Like, I'm not going to be battling the most diverse, like, teams. And what I mean by that is just you're just gonna face less Pokemon to prep for. So I wanted to be offensively threatening, as well as, you know, just being able to take like defensively hits. And I feel like we built a pretty good balanced team here. I think it's gonna be a fun team. Overall, this is probably one of the funnest teams I've drafted. If you look at the top 9 Mons, every single one of them I would love to slap on a team and use. Each one has its uses, and I think the team's going to be great. Like, honestly, I think it's going to be great. Will I play it great? We'll see. But I think I did my best to give myself enough tools to mess up the competition. We don't have any super glaring weaknesses. Looking at our type chart on the draftleague.nl, we don't have any weaknesses that just stand out. The closest thing is Ice, and between Scizor and Lantern, we have some of the best and budget ice resist in the game. So I really love the team. As far as things that we have that we can use, we have entry hazards. You know, we only have it in 2 Pokemon, Wigglytuff and Nidoqueen, which is kind of one of this team's like lackluster points, because Nidoqueen isn't always something that's going to want to set hazards, but I think it's going to be really good for forcing switches. And when I force switches, I can get hazards. Wigglytuff, Stealth Rock's in its arsenal. Unfortunately, the only removal on this team is Defog. Now, with that being said, we have 4 Defoggers. So, you know, we aren't going to care about rocks too much. Our only rock weak Pokemon is going to have boots, like, every week. Spoilers, but it's a Moltres. I think Moltres was garbage until Gen 8 because of Stealth Rock. I'm so glad they put heavy duty boots in the game, to be honest, because fire type's one of my favorite type, but I will be the first to admit that taking 25% or more from Stealth Rock every time you come in is not the best. But it's really nice. We have a couple clerics in the house with Lantern and Wigglytuff. Super great. Wigglytuff can pass Fat Wishes, so we do have Wish on deck. As far as priority, we have some of the best in the game. Bullet Punch from Scizor, Extreme Speed from Zygarde. We have Prankster. We have Sucker Puncher Shifu, Vacuum Wave Scizor, Sucker Punch Nidoqueen and Lantern. It's niche, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen a Sucker Punch Lantern get a kill before. So you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. A little Sucker Punch Lantern action for you. Momentum, we have it everywhere. We have Baton Passers, we have Teleporters, we have U-Turners, we have Volt Switchers. Love it. We have 3 knockoff Mons, Whimsicott, Scizor, and Wigglytuff. 2 of those aren't going to be running knockoff all the time. One of them probably will run knockoff all the time. It's a Scizor. Taunt users, not the best, but you know, I feel like we have ways to cripple like more defensive Pokemon Like we have Whimsicott that can encore them. We have Latios that can trick them Choice Scarfs. You know, and we have one of the best wall breakers in the game with her Shifu Single Strike. Like, I just want to spam Wicked Blow, you guys. That's really what it is. And we have ways to support it. We have screens. We have plenty of screen users on the team. Whimsicott can set up light screen. We have Reflect users. Like, I don't really like screens, but it's there. That's really it. I don't really have anything else to say about the team, you guys. I hope you enjoyed me just rambling. If you did, support us in the YCL. If you have any dope sets that you think we might want to use, drop them in the comments down below for sure. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this team as well. Please drop it down below in the comment section. Let me know. If you got any fire set ideas that you've seen or used before, let me know. And I'll catch you guys later with hopefully some more YCL content. So, peace out.